Spooky and Spookier, 4 American Ghost Stories by Lori Haskins Aaron, illustrations by Viviana Diaz. Here's story number 3. The Bony Bachelor. Buckskin Joe Mining Camp, Buckskin Joe, Colorado, March 1866. J. Dawson Hidgepath is dead. Annie Lewis is sure of it. She saw him buried last year with her own 2 eyes. Yet here he is, standing on her front porch. He's got his same old brown hat on his head, that is, on the skull that used to be his head. I think I'm going to faint, Annie whispers. The skeleton pulls off his hat. He drops to one bony knee. Annie, J. Dawson says softly, will you marry me? Flump! Down goes Annie. In the 1860s, most men went to Colorado looking for one thing: gold. J. Dawson Hidgepath went looking for 2 things: gold and a bride. The lonely miner arrived in 1863. That year he asked nearly every woman in town to be his wife. The problem was, most of them were already married. That didn't stop J. Dawson. Time after time, he knelt with his dusty brown hat in his hand. Will you marry me? The women's husbands weren't pleased. Some of them threatened J. Dawson with fists. Some threatened him with shotguns. You might think that's how J. Dawson met his end, but no. One hot July day in 1865, J. Dawson couldn't find any ladies to visit, so he decided to go for a hike on nearby Mount Bross. Halfway up the trail, he took a wrong step and plunged to his death off the side of the mountain. Buckskin Cemetery, where J. Dawson Hidgepath's bones were said to be buried, and buried, and buried again. The people of Buckskin Joe buried J. Dawson in the cemetery just outside of town. They thought his courting days were over. They were dead wrong. It wasn't long before J. Dawson started showing up again. His skeleton knocked on every door in town. First he called on the town seamstress, then the school teacher, then the barmaid from the saloon. Each time the people of Buckskin Joe buried J. Dawson's bones again, each time he came back. The townspeople dug his grave deeper. They put heavy rocks on it, but nothing kept J. Dawson from looking for love. He proposed to the barber's daughter, the banker's sister, even the mayor's wife. Finally, the people of Buckskin Joe couldn't take it anymore. They stuffed J. Dawson's bones into a sack. In the middle of the night, they rode over the mountains to the town of Leadville. There, they stopped at an outhouse. They carried J. Dawson's bones inside and dumped them down the hole. That should do it, they figured. Even if he got out, he'd be too embarrassed by his smell to go courting. The plan worked. From then on, the women of Buckskin Joe were left alone. Of course, The Leadville ladies had their own troubles. Each time they visited the outhouse, they heard a soft voice from below. "Will you marry me?" The end.